What is hatching, Toga Peeps? OldManTup coming at you today with our Week 4 matchup versus Dan, aka A-Drive, and the St. Louis Rampardos. Now, for those of you who don't know, we have a career record versus Dan in the GBA of 0-4. 0-4. So, let that sink in for a second. 0-4. So, we have never beat Dan. We've only been in the GBA for 3 seasons, and he's beat us 4 times. Now, how has that happened? Our first and second seasons of the GBA, we were paired in a division with him, so we played him twice both those seasons. Both times, our first matches were really close and come down to the wire. The second matches, not so much. So, we've come close to beating Dan a couple of times. This is the Vegeta versus Goku scenario. We come in full of heat, and we just come up short. So, let's hit that like button if you want to see Vegeta go Super Saiyan and just wipe that no effort smirk off the face of Kakarot. So, turn up on that. If you like Goku, sit on that thumbs up because I don't like you. Just kidding, I do, but your opinion is wrong. So let's take a look at Dan's team. Not a lot of surprises here. A lot of stuff we expected to see. Steelix, Jellicipod, Toxapex, Victini, the Poison guy. Oh, why can't I think of his name? Gliscor, and Staraptor. Now, considering he has Steelix, I'm assuming the only point of this is going to be Rocks and Roar. He doesn't have a really good matchup against my team. Granted, aside from it just coming in and sitting in front of a bunch of stuff, it is setup fodder for Slowking. So that's something we need to keep an eye on. Looking at this team, I kind of wish I had brought in a different variant of Scizor, but the Banded U-turn. Excuse me, feeling a little froggy today. So, the Banded U-turn is still going to do tons of damage across his team. So, that's good. So let's dive into this match and see if the Prince of Saiyans can finally get his revenge on Kakarot. Alright, and that is why I don't voice act for you guys, because it's absolutely horrible. So we're going to dive into the match. Dan, aka A-Drive, is in that goofy looking sweater. And I think we actually sent out the request this time. So going to start off with Rolex, and we start off with Coco Beware, and that's perfectly fine for me. Just going to U-turn out on his face. Nothing else really for us to do. He's probably going to set up the rocks here. Not a problem. Even though we brought no means of getting rid of the rocks, our team isn't horribly Stealth Rock weak. We're rocking that E-Belt this week, which was nice. I think we rocked the E-Belt. Good lord, I forget already. I just did the team builder yesterday too. Ugh. So he's going to set up rocks. We bring in Dreege, and that leaves him with few options to go into. Now, much to my surprise, he goes out into Toxapex, and I'm just like, what? I don't know if he was assuming the superpower was coming here, but we're rocking the Earth Power, and that does just less than half. Now, I have to take a moment and think about it. He has to know that that is unboosted damage based off what it did. So is he going to think that I'm carrying Ground EMZ, or is he going to be worried that about that much damage from a Draco Meteor is going to be enough to take him out? He could think I'm Scarfed. He may not know at this point, because like I said, the only thing that revealed to him is that it's unboosted damage. So I'm not Specs, I'm not Life Orb, I'm not Expert Belt. Well, that roll on the damage may have told him that I'm Expert Belt, or made him curious. So, do I do what I said in the team builder and wait to pop our first Z move of the season? We see he's got Black Sludge, so that's going to be his recovery. Probably packing in the recover also, because why the heck not? He's going to go into Dracula, and we took this turn down to the timer to decide what we want to do, and we make the wrong move and go for a Ground EMZ and cry ourselves to sleep. Our Gallic gun missing horribly, and we thought it would end the match. So, should have just went for the safe Draco Meteor there, but we didn't. So he comes in, gets that for free. He's going to go back out into Toxapex. Got that regenerator back up. We just go for a Dark Pulse here because it hits the majority of his team fairly well, and I wasn't sure what he'd switch in. So he goes back into Venomax here. I'm just like, okay. He knows I'm not Scarf now. He knows I'm Ground DMZ. I'm just going to stay in and hit this thing and see what kind of damage I can do. Maybe with the Earth Power I'll get a special defense drop, get a little bit of luck. Nope, he's going to go for the Toxic, and that's no bueno. We don't have any means of recovery. We have no means of mass healing with aromatherapy or heal bell. So this Hydreigon is slowly going to get whittled down, and that's no bueno. So electricity is going to disappear from the field here. His Venomax is sitting at a point where if I'd have gone for the Earth Power, it would have been dead. But I didn't. I went for the Dark Pulse. We don't catch a flinch, and he gets up well over half, which is definitely more than our Earth Powers were doing. So we need to get the heck out of here because this is not working out for us. So we're going to switch out. We're going to go into Shatter, the Nidoking. Anything he does to us really isn't going to hit us for too much damage. He's going to go for the Recover, so that's bueno. Was a little worried that he might be packing the Scald and switch up moves there, predicting me to switch out. Now, I'm going to set up Rocks here because I really thought he was going to go into Gliscor. I really thought he was going to go into Gliscor or Staraptor to avoid the incoming Ice Beam that I thought was kind of obvious. And he's going to go for the Scald there. He's going to snag Burn turn 1, which is going to make it very hard for Shatter to do anything the rest of the match. It's going to limit my switch in and outs, especially if they're direct switches and not feint switches, because it's going to take Rocks damage and Burn damage every time it comes in. He's going to catch me snoozing there, where I go for the Earth Power. Now here, I have enough speed to outspeed most variants of Gliscor. The only way he would outspeed me is if he is an offensive speedy variant. And he does. So we know this thing's meant to be more offensively now, and it's not a bulky Scizor, or Gliscor, I'm sorry, I've probably been calling it Scizor the whole time. So he's going to go into Guzma. The Golisopod, going to go for the Ice Beam, that's going to do next to nothing. Now, at this point, I don't have a super safe Aqua Jet switch in. Shatter's going to go down to Burn plus Rocks damage anyways, so I just sack it here and go into a safe switch for Golisopod. So Shatter goes down. I have played it horribly again, making mispredictions early in the game. Kevlar is going to come out here, and a Banded U-turn is going to take it down to ejection range, if not kill it. And it takes it all the way down. It lives on a smidgen of health. It gets emergency exited out. Dracula's going to come out here. I don't know if he actually gets the option to pick on emergency exit. And if he does, that's very unfortunate for us, because we can do nothing to this. So Dracula's going to come in, and little game mechanic I didn't know there, that I don't get to switch out if he gets emergency exit. But we have enough bulk to live that Fire Fang comfortably. We'll be able to switch back into Rocks and attack something or sack this off later. So we just continue for the U-turn because we're banded. And that's what we kind of got to do. We're going to go into Coco Beware. We got that HP Ice, which is nice in all the right situations. Electric Surge going to be back on the field, which doesn't help him out immensely because he didn't bring Electros this match, which made me very happy because I didn't have a lot of solid answers to that aside from just whittle it down through a war of attrition. Now he's going to switch out here, and he's going to go into Rolex. I just popped that Hidden Power Ice, which I'm going to assume he is going to figure out that's what this is because it does neutral damage to the Steelix. Now I calc it. I don't see leftovers. 100% confident that this is Assault Vest. So I'm just going to U-turn out here. Not a lot he can do to us. And this time I'm going to U-turn out, and I'm going to Pop-Tart. Now, like I said before, I'm still thinking that this is going to be a roar variant, and here's where it confirms that it is a roar variant. Roars me right back out, getting one Coco Beware. Now, this isn't a fun cycle because we're taking rocks damage, but as long as we get sent into our regenerator mons, the only thing taking damage is what we switch into. And we are slowly whittling this thing down one knife stroke at a time. And that's going to allow something better to come in. We go into Noodle this time because I'm really baiting to see if he has Toxic, and I want Noodle Toxic, and he does carry it. I want Noodle Toxic and not Pop-Tart because I want Pop-Tart to set up an iron defense and just win the game. So Noodle's going to get badly poisoned here, and that's no bueno. Now, I thought here. I thought about going for the Earthquake because it does a lot of damage to this, and his immediate answer to me is probably going to be Victini. Or go into Gliscor, U-turn out into Victini because I'm not going to Earthquake a Gliscor. So, I went for, I believe, the Leaf Storm here, expecting the Gliscor to come out. Gliscor does come out. Did I do what I thought I did, or is this the wrong turn? I'm so confused. Oh, I go for the knockoff this turn. That's not going to do a lot. I went for knockoff this round of events because it is going to do large amounts of damage to either of them on the switch in. So electricity is going to disappear here after all the turn effects. We're rocking that berry. He's going to go for the U-turn here. We're going to eat that berry up. Yum, yum, yum. And he's going to U-turn out. And that does pathetic damage because we're completely physically invested. Now Dracula's going to come out here. He's going to go into Victini. And maybe this is a turn we Leaf Storm, thinking he was just going to go for a... Yeah, we thought he was going to possibly Roost Up. Leaf Storm's still going to do a solid amount of damage even though it's resisted. That is our only special attack this week if I'm not mistaken. We don't have a safe switch into a V-Create. And unfortunately Tangrowth's going to have to go down right here. I don't want to take unnecessary V-Create damage on Slowking. That's not what the purpose of the set is. So Victini, going to take the special defense drops and the speed drops, which means we can pretty much switch in anything we want here and just lower the boomstick. So we're going to bring in Pop-Tart. And I'm like, you know, this thing is in pick-off range and nothing coming in wants to take a Scald. So why not drop a safe Scald, maybe snag a burn on something? He's going to go for the Bolt Strike here. Now, mind you, he is at -1 special defense. He's going to go for the Bolt Strike. We live that more than comfortably. Even Banded variant couldn't take us out. He's going to get the Paralysis here. And we're going to get the Scald and kill this Victini. Just kidding, no we're not. We get paralyzed first turn off a Paralysis that came from Bolt Strike. Now, keep in mind that Paralysis is probably better than getting Toxic later in the game. So, we'll deal with that. But this would be a Victini. Black Pearl would not be coming in and taking damage. So, he's going to V-Create here, which is going to do a huge amount of damage again. There was absolutely no reason for him not to do that. We are going to live because Black Pearl resists it and is a bulky mofo. Now, the question is, are we going to live the poison damage? Not a lot, but we will survive. Next turn is definitely going to take us out. We're going to die to rocks damage coming in anyways. So we go for the Dark Pulse here, just revenging this Victini. A little surprised he sacked it off at this point, because right now he doesn't have a great answer to Slowking. All I have to do is come in, get recovery, and set up, and GG, no re. Pearl's going to faint here, like I said, would still be around if we hit that Scald. Gliscor is going to come out here. We're going to go into Coco Beware because it's the fastest thing, unless he has Scarfed Staraptor. He hasn't brought it out yet, so I don't know. Considering he didn't bring it out here and just go for a U-turn, kind of makes me think it's possible that he doesn't have Scarf Staraptor because he knows that we are not Scarf Coco because we've been switching moves. Now, I kind of sat on this move for a minute because I wasn't sure. I said, you know what? He's gone into Rolex every single time. I bet he's going to stay in predicting the U-turn because he thinks that's what we're going to do, live it and drop an attack. So I just went for the HP Ice again. I wasn't trying to play super safe, but stopping from going in the cycle that was before, I thought he would keep Gliscor in, make a risky play, and go for an attack, which he did, which he's going to pay for because he eats a Hidden Power Ice to the face, and Gliscor is going to go down. Coco, beware, putting in the work. Rolex comes out here, going to, and I'm just predicting the Roar or the Toxic, so there's no reason for me not to U-turn myself out, get a little bit more whittle damage on this thing, and go right into Slowking. Because, I mean, even if he roars me, I'm healing myself up. Because it gives me the regenerator, Roar does no damage, and even if he Earthquakes, we should eat that up for days, because no attack. Goes for the Toxic, come in, doesn't work because we're already we're already paralyzed. And that's bueno. So he's going to stay in an Earthquake, and we're going to see how little damage that does with the minimal investment we have into defense. And we eat that up. We're going to slack off in this thing's face. I was really surprised he didn't just roar there to try to prevent us from doing that, but I don't know if he was banking on a paralysis and being able to land 2 attacks on us. But regardless, that is not the real answer for us. He's going to Earthquake again here. Again, I'm thinking he doesn't have a really safe switch into a Scald. So we stay well above half that turn. We're going to set up the Iron Defense this turn, which means if he continues to attack us, it's not going to do much. We're above half. We're still above half. So he has to roar this turn. He has to. He can't allow us to stay set up because he can't bring in Staraptor and 2-shot us at this point unless we're paralyzed. So we're going to go for the Scald. If we snag a burn, it's going to give us residual damage on this thing, and it looks like it'll put it in and we do snag the burn. Bueno, bueno. 2 turn 1 Scald burns traded back and forth, and that is going to put this thing in range that the the burn should take it out. He survives on like 1 HP, which is unfortunate, but I guess fine, because all we have to do is go for the HP Ice, because nothing he switches, he doesn't want to switch in anything on this. He could bring in Jellicipod to sack it. Now he's going to bring a Mohawk. Now here's where we're going to find out if it is banded or if it is scarfed. I don't have a good option at this point to switch in and really do much to. I don't want to switch in my only priority that's left. Looking back on it, I probably should have switched in to Scizor at this point, but right now I'm looking pretty good. Set up an Iron Defense and win the game. Let this thing take some recoil damage. Again, it can't one-shot us. All we have to do is get a Scald off and kill it. Staraptor is going to come in. If it's banded, we win the game. If it's scarfed, he still has a chance. Going to go for the double edge here. That is definitely going to pick up the KO. That would probably kill us from 100%. Because, and come on, man. The Wheel of Death is going to turn. Now, here's the way the rest of the match needs to play out. All we have to do is get a Scald off on this Burb. We get the Scald off, we win the game. So, he's going to bring out, I'm going to bring out Pop-Tart. Pop-Tart is sitting pretty well above half health. Even after Rock's damage, we can take anything he wants to give us. A double edge is going to put him well within the realm that a Scald is going to kill him. But we get paralyzed. And we can't recover from that because switching out and coming back in and taking Rock's damage is not going to be enough to get us a hit off on this thing. Kevlar is going to have to come out here, get what little bit more chip damage it can on this. And his last two Mon are Jellicipod, which dies on switch in, and Toxapex, which unless it gets extreme paralysis hacks, can't 1v1 Slowking. So Slowking comes back out, and we know based off of the damage the first Double Edge does, unless he gets the lowest of low rolls, we don't survive this. So he kills us, and we lose once again to Dan because of a pair of unfortunate paralysis at the worst times, the worst moments. So our first one of the victory gets snuffed out by a pair of paralysis hacks. Now, like I said, the paralysis on the Bolt Strike is a null and moot point because it was more than welcome based off the facts he could have toxiced us and just won the game from there. But that is all we can do about that. Next week we play Lars, El Storch, El Scizor himself, and we will be moving on, looking to that match. We have a rough matchup there. This was probably our best matchup coming into this week as to having an ultimate win condition. So losing the match in the fashion we did is really a kick in the pants because there's nothing else for us to do at this point. Alright guys, let's move on to next week, and we will catch you on the flip side. Peace.